Internet. The website The Broken the Bookish have this really awesome thing that they call Top 10 Tuesdays. They give prompts for every Tuesday of different top 10 things relating to books, and I've decided to start answering them. This week's is top 10 books I want to give as gifts, and to who, even if you don't actually give them. I'm not actually giving away a lot of these, so it's basically just books I think people should read or give away this holiday, and I'm not doing it in a top 10 format. I'm going to start with The God Box by Alex Sanchez. It's a young adult novel. It's really quick read, but a really good read. It really makes you think. It's about a young man struggling with both his sexual and his religious identity. In it, Sanchez goes through most of the biblical arguments against homosexuality and explains that none of them are really arguments against homosexuality at all. So I think anyone out there who's kind of been struggling with the idea of gay rights, or any Christian out there, really needs to read The God Box. Next up, we have Name of the Star by Maureen Johnson. It's really creepy, spooky good. It's about a Jack the Ripper character coming back to London in current day, and it's so good. If you like creepy stories, if you like stories that kind of freak you out but are in a really, really good and interesting way, read this book. Next up, we have Geektastic, which I've talked about on this channel before, but it's such a good book that I can't pass up talking about it again. It is my go-to book when I'm feeling sad. I just go and read a wonderful story about nerdy happiness, and it's so good. And if you're a nerd, read this book. People who are into fantasy novels should read The Game of Thrones, which is the first book in the Song of Ice and Fire series by George R.R. Martin. It's really long and kind of complex, but really, really interesting. If you like strange plot twists and awesome twists and turns and fantasy stuff, you should read this book. Next up, we have The Astonishing Life of Octavian Nothing by M.T. Anderson, which is the first book in the Pox Party series. It's really, really historically awesome. It's about this kind of science experiment where white men in the 1900s, before slavery is abolished, raise a black child as if he's a white child to see if there's any psychological differences, and obviously they find out there's not, and it's really, really good. If you like historical books, go read it. Cory Doctorow is one of my favorite authors, and his book Makers is really interesting. It's about a colony on the moon and 3D printers, and it's just so cool. If you're into science stuff, you should read this book. Book that I actually am giving as a present is Inheritance by Christopher Paolini. It's the last book in the Inheritance cycle, which starts with the book Eragon. I personally haven't read it. I read the first 3 books though, and a friend of mine asked me for it for Christmas, so she's getting it. Another book I recently read is the book Kindred by Octavia Butler. She's actually the first woman African-American science fiction author to be published, which is really cool. It's half science fiction, half historical fiction, because it's about a girl who travels back in time. People who like historical fiction will like it. It's not so much science fiction, but it's technically science fiction because of the time travel part. But the time travel is never actually explained. Another book that I'm actually giving it as a present is 19 Minutes by Jodi Picoult. I love her books. They're amazing, even though I know they'll always make me cry. This book is about a school shooting, and it's really sad, but my cousin really likes Jodi Picoult, so I'm giving her my copy. And last but not least, Let It Snow by John Green, Maureen Johnson, and Lauren Miracle. I've actually given this book away on multiple occasions, different Christmases, because it's so good. I read it every December. If you like holiday stories, you definitely need to pick up a copy. So here's my top 10 Tuesday. Let me know if I should keep doing this. There are lots of different prompts, and they have prompts for every week. Let me know if you like it. Thank you for watching. You're awesome. See you next time.